Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome to my podcast, Booty Biz. This time in English, my first English speaking friend, Kerry. I'm so happy that you took my invitation. Thank you so much. We have a great topic already. But before I continue, let's talk about you, who you are, how have you been, and everybody knows already you qualify for Olympia.
Crazy. Yeah, my name is Kerry Sexton, IFBB Pro, Kerry Sexton underscore IFBB Pro on Instagram. And yeah, it's crazy just hearing you actually say that a minute ago about the Olympia qualification because that is still crazy to me. That is it in the background there. The my boyfriend got a big old board up to remind me every single day, and obviously we've got the belt there, so that's crazy. But yeah, I have been in this sport since 2016, but I turned IFBB Pro in 2019 in Iceland. I did 6 shows in 8 weeks to secure my IFBB Pro card. I kept winning my height class. And then I kept coming like second in the overall or just missing out. And so I did, yeah, 6 shows in 8 weeks to try and secure that. That was 2019, so just before COVID, actually. So I always think it's crazy to think that if I didn't go for it that year, how my story would have mapped out
That's crazy.
because obviously those were kind of non-existent, I would say, around the time of obviously COVID. However, I was actually able to compete and I did my pro debut in a face mask. Yeah, I did it in a face mask on stage in Alicante.
Oh my God. I'm
Yeah, it was
a little
hectic.
shocked. You
We all
know
had to have
why?
like social distancing.
Yeah.
We all had to be like gaps apart from each other. Um, yeah, and obviously all the stage photos. We had like the Empro like mask. They like made face masks. Oh, it's absolutely crazy,
You
to be
know what?
honest.
Then we will
Yeah. And some
get
people had like matching ones to their bikinis, like sparkly face masks.
yes, yes.
What an
Oh
insane,
my.
yeah, that's insane, isn't it, when you think about it? But yeah, I've been in the sport since 2016, so
Oh, I'm a little shocked now because to all of the audience, I just found Carrie on Instagram and I really like her profile. So that's why I asked her, do you want to come to my podcast? And I had the feeling I needed to write you because I always, though all people who I invite, it's all, I'm honest, it's all about sympathy. So people who I think it's sympathetic, who I like, I have the feeling, I ask. And now I'm a little shocked about your story. You know why? To 19,
wow.
to 19, same story with me. I always won my height class, always second, second, second. Then I
Really?
secured, yes, I secured in December in the Philippines. And I was at Empro too, to
Were
20,
you really? In 2020?
2020, yeah. This
Did
was
you
my,
wear the face mask? It was the same, was it was that show?
yes, where I had that's why I was so shocked when you were talking, like, oh my God, what?
That's
Oh,
crazy. Yeah, so that was my pro debut. So was that your pro debut?
yes, or yeah. I mean, in the Philippines, I had afterwards directly a
Yeah.
pro competition, but my pro debut was in Alicante, actually.
Yeah, so same.
That's
How
it.
amazing is that? That's literally crazy, isn't it? So where did you place at that show?
I don't know anymore. I think middle, somewhere middle,
Right.
just to
Because
see. Yeah,
I got fourth call outs
yeah.
and I was the last person in the call out. So I always say, because it was a really big show, if I remember rightly.
Yes, there were
Um,
lots of girls.
Yeah, I always say I came dead last because I literally was standing there, fourth call outs, and they had called every single person, and then it was me. Can you hear a WhatsApp beep, or is that
Uh,
just my end?
I just heard a beep, but mine is
You
actually
can,
off. So let me
I'm
double.
going to quickly exit off of my thing because
Sorry.
that's there you go. It's all my clients just pinging off. So I've just got that down. You shouldn't hear that anymore. So yeah, that's absolutely crazy. But yeah, I always say like I came dead last because I was literally there. So you beat me at that show.
But now I look different. Afterwards, I did downsizing because
Okay.
I was a little overdeveloped during this
And
time.
where did that leave you heading into like this season? Did you have any feedback about growing more?
Too much. I now I have to grow. I have
Yeah,
that's so
so hard. That's because the evolution of the sport, isn't it? And how, you know, 1 minute it used to be like you need less, and then it's now like you kind of need more. So it'll be really interesting this year to see like what happens, especially with the fit model.
yeah, yeah, because they have to make the difference.
Yeah.
Wow, what I'm like, wow. I don't know
Yeah,
what
that's
to think.
crazy. That is literally crazy. We both did our pro debut together.
Yeah, wow.
Madness. But yeah, so how many shows have you done since that?
Then I stopped competing. I really tried to come back competing, but the whole COVID thing came up. And then
Yeah,
okay, then I'm going to focus more on my university. And I did also some certification and changed my job because from one day to the other, I had no job anymore and no earnings anymore. So I had to
wow.
react. I still tried and come back, but it was really hard because
Yeah,
many things I had I mean, it's a choice, I know, but I
yeah,
choose different priorities. But since beginning last year, I figure out what I want in my life, and I thought it's bodybuilding. And since
yeah.
then, I'm happy. And even it's
Wow.
so hard going back on stage without any sponsoring, I still made it. So my
Yeah.
season actually just started.
Have you got another show coming up? As me, I'm interviewing you now. Have you got another show coming up?
I know I need more time to grow, but I told Stefan I really wish to go on the FIBO because it's the first German pro show here for all classes, and so many people and friends are coming over there, and it's a chance, and it's not too far from me here,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's
so I will take it.
so that in
Cologne.
April or March?
Yes,
April.
you're coming.
I'm not coming, no.
Aw. But if you feel
I
like
don't think so.
please.
Not to compete, that's for sure.
Or at least to watch.
I may. We will see.
Just let me know.
I will do.
Yeah, but maybe you continue because before we started the podcast, I already have one more information, which I thought, wow, what a story, because this is like there, I need to ask you a lot in this case, how you
Yeah.
made it, your path, my huge respect. And yeah, just keep on going. And then I
So
start.
how to my path. So my background is pretty normal, I would say. I've always had like normal jobs. I think I've literally worked in every supermarket, Tesco's, Asda. I did night shifts in Tesco's. I worked in the co-op. I worked as an air hostess for EasyJet. I've worked in Barclays Bank. I've worked in gyms. I've worked in cafes,
Oh,
all
wow.
that kind of yeah. And I always used to just like leave a job if I didn't like it. And that's very much how I am. Like if I don't like something, I would leave and it would be like, you've just quit your job. Like my parents would be like, you've just quit your job. Like, what next? And I'd be like, yeah, yeah, that's fine. My mum always told me I would have to accept one day that I need a 9 to 5 job. And I was like, absolutely not. I didn't know that I was going to be an online coach. I didn't know that I was going to be this into bodybuilding. I used to base any job that I did have way back when, so literally around 2016, I used to base like any job I had would be like as minimal hours as I could do so I could live, but still bodybuild. So
Mhm.
this was when I was like relative, like very new to the sport. Um, but I just knew that like you had to rest a lot, sleep a lot, and I used to just kind of pour everything in. And I think like a lot of people when I first begun my journey was kind of like thinking it's a fad. Um, she'll never make it. And that was, I had like one of my friends record some people in the gym talking about how I would never make it, stuff like that. Even like in 20, I would say 2020/2021, I had people, which I recorded, I had someone tell me, they laughed in my face and told me, you'll never make it to the Olympia, you'll always be in Mark's shadow, things like that. So I feel like throughout my journey, I've had quite a lot of like doubt put like on me. Even chasing, so to speak, my pro card. A lot of people were like, why is she still going? And it was like, well, I keep winning my class. Like, there's got to be something.
Yes.
I don't feel like I was ever like the most um, genetically blessed. Like, I've had to work hard um, to get to where I am now. I turned pro naturally as well, which was obviously very good. And then I started assistance in 2020, which I've openly spoken about briefly on my social media platforms. I don't really go into it much, but I do think it's important for people to understand that that is part of my journey when they look through my photos and things like that, because, you know, it can be easy to compare or to think, why does she look like that? Or, you know, that kind of stuff. So I am honest in everything I say, and I do put that out there. So yeah, but my kind of journey started really with an eating disorder. So I used to play football at quite a high level. Um, I used to train on a Monday morning for 2 hours, Tuesday morning. I used to play a game on a Wednesday, play train on a Wednesday night for another team, some fitness class on a Thursday, a game on a Sunday. So I was very into that. And then when that came like to an end, so I didn't want to do it anymore, my eating habits still remained like the same. And obviously my energy output was a lot lower. None of what I did was like based around nutrition. I had literally no idea like about nutrition. I just at that point was obviously able to eat, you know, from the canteen or whatever at college, like whatever I wanted, like a couple of sausage rolls, a cake, whatever. I didn't meal prep or like I didn't like vegetables. As a kid, it took me about 45 minutes to eat a piece of chicken. And
Sweet.
so
I like your story. That's crazy.
I literally like I hated like protein. I hated vegetables. Didn't wasn't a fan of fruit apart from like banana. So like all that kind of stuff. And that's another reason is like when I started, my first coach put me on 10 meals per day.
10.
And yeah, 10 small meals per day at like I think I was 6 weeks out maybe from like my first show. And I had a coach who was coaching me into it, but like didn't really know anything about the sport. And then like coaches weren't such a big thing back then in 2016 and 2017 and stuff. And then I went with like someone who was local to me in the gym, and her coach had her on 10 meals to help boost her metabolism. And I'm not lying, my meals were like, I don't know, let's say like 80 grams of raw weight chicken, and then it was like 20 grams of sweet potato in each meal, and like 50 grams of veg, and that was like my meals. But by the time like the next meal came around, I was still eating like the same meal, even though it was small, because I never used to eat protein or vegetables or anything like that. The eating disorder thing was, like I say, when I finished football, so around like 2015, then I think the last time I did it, I think it was 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks or something out from my first show when I made myself sick because I had bulimia. And yeah, I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks out or something like that. I've not done it since, but I think I cheated my diet and that made me do it. And then I told my coach and she said, like, you don't need to do that. And then it kind of started as like a bit of a streak. So it'd be like, okay, 1 week without, 2 weeks without, 3 weeks without, for a year, 2 years. And on that journey, post show and stuff, obviously over the years, there's more support on it. There's more understanding. Post show isn't seen as like a big free for all now, I would say more so. Um, Whereas back then it was. So it was quite tempting for me to eat the food and to, I would stand in front of the toilet and be like, I
Mm.
want to do this, but I didn't. So I've not had any of those feels like at all for maybe like a good 3 and a bit, 4 years, maybe even now, to be honest with you, which is really good. And obviously, I think bodybuilding can crush some people's food relationships, but it
Yeah.
actually built mine because I knew that to be a better athlete, to grow, to recover, and all that kind of stuff, I needed to eat in my off season to grow, to rest, to recover. So I think that kind of pulled me into good ways and good habits with eating.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I can't actually, I think like the last time I like binged, I would say, was probably like 2019, probably. So that's really good. This post show, every post show's been better. I've always feared that like something may come back one day.
Yes.
It is like a fear of mine, I would say, like post show. So I'm always like, when a post show arrives, I'm like, how is this going to be? Like, how is this going to be? But so far, so good. Um, yeah, so that's a little bit about the kind of backstory, I guess. My dad actually competed. Did he compete before me? Or he chose to compete. And he said to me, like, you should do this. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, it's not for me. I used to say to my sister, like, you've got too much muscle on your back. She used to try and make me do squats, pull-ups, and I was just like so football orientated. So I didn't like it. And it used to frustrate me that I couldn't like learn the movements and stuff.
Yeah.
So I spend about 2 minutes trying to get her to teach me a squat, and then I'd be like, no, no, not for me. I'm out. See you later. So it's kind of like that. Um, and I think I just had a wild thought at like 1 a.m. one night, in I guess 2015 or 2016, early 2016. And I was like, maybe I do want to do this. And that's when I found out that um, you didn't have to be like a female bodybuilder, but there was other levels to this.
Mhm.
And that's when I started like delving into it, did a few natural shows, came second in my first show, and then was kind of like, I hated it. I hated it. I hated the stage. But I came second. So I was like, well, maybe I'm good at this without like so maybe I should just have another go and see if I can win. So they told me there was a show in 6 weeks, and I did. I won and qualified for the British, and then came third in the British, competed with another federation, and placed all first. I think it was like one second, one third, and like four first places in my first year. And then from like my whole first show, a year later, it was like 364 days later or something like that. I then won my pro card for another federation,
Ah,
PCA. Do you remember the PCA at all?
no,
No,
honestly,
there's a
that was.
federation called PCA
Mhm.
in the UK. I think they are in other countries as well. And then I was presented the British title for them as well. And won. I was the first ever PCA pro. If anyone knows, they'll know. But I was the first UK bikini pro for them. I was scared to compete with a federation at the time called the UK BFF, who were the route to like through the IFBB, NPC, and all that stuff. And I was scared to compete with them because I didn't think I was good enough.
Mhm.
So 2018, I did another season where I got like essentially, well, I was sponsored by the federation to go to um, South Korea,
Oh,
um,
wow.
China, South Africa.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I've been to loads of different places with this federation, and won and placed high and stuff like that. And then that was when I was like, right, okay, I think I need to try and step into like something new now and like put that behind me a little bit. And then that year was when I had my first run of the NPC. That's when Two Bros in the UK formed. And so yeah, that was 2019 when I first did the shows for them. So yeah, that was my first run at turning IFBB Pro. And I just kind of went in like, I want to get my pro card. And
Wow.
that's what I did. So that was really, really crazy. But I think I was so used to winning. Um, so very used to winning. I'd won like, oh, I can't even remember. It was like 28 shows as an amateur, something ridiculous like that. Always won in football and things like that. And then stepped in to do my pro debut. A lot of people had me like in their top three and stuff like that. And then, yeah, it didn't really go to plan. Um, and I ended up placing like fourth call outs, I would say dead last. And then I think I went on to do, I can't remember what my best placing was that year. I think maybe seventh. I think I did like four or five shows. So it kind of ended a bit like, like, not sure about this.
Yes, like when you're used to win all the time. This happened to me in
Yeah.
the past. I mean, in India.
Then, yeah. But then I sat back and thought, like, I just need to let this push me more. Like, I just need to let it push me more. So what happened after that? That was 2020. And then I think I managed to place third in 2021.
Mhm.
I can't remember. I broke my foot in, I think it was 2020. Actually, I think I had took a year out in 2021.
Oh,
I broke my foot in 2021. Yes, I broke my foot in 2021. So that was a bit traumatic. I literally was running down the stairs. I had a posing client, and I had like 5 minutes to go. Mark was outside sweeping the stones, and he had put his shoes like in a really annoying place. I threw them behind, like by the stairs. And then I ran upstairs to my posing client and I was like, oh no, I've left my phone downstairs. Ran back downstairs, trod on his shoe,
oh,
went over on my foot. And then, yeah, I was out from like May time until, and then I like was out and managed to like rehab up until I think it was like September
oh,
time. I was off until September, then I rehabbed and started prep and then did prep, and I managed to come, I think I came like eighth at a UK show. So again I was like is this really like for me?
yes.
And then my coach at the time said like you haven't got enough muscle mass. Like I think you just need to like stop. And I was like, what? Like I'm
He
used to
said
doing
that
like
to
five or
you?
six.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt, but he said it to you?
Yeah, yeah, like stop and
Really?
grow. Essentially, he said like I don't think you're big enough, so I think we should just go straight into an off season. But I'm so used to doing like four to six shows
Yes,
and stuff like that. And I
yes.
was like, what? I can't have done all this prep just for like one show. And I was like looking at the pictures and stuff, and I just thought, I don't think I'm lean enough. So I was like, no, I don't want to, I don't want to quit here. And then I went to, I think the next show after that was Italy. And I think I can't remember, I think there was like 27, 28 girls, but I managed to place third. So I was like, wow, okay. So I've gone from like eighth, thinking that I'm not big enough, to then like third. So that was pretty crazy. And I think the rest of the season, I can't remember off the top of my head. There's been so many shows. I think I came like within like top 10 for the rest of the shows. So it was a bit kind of like, oh, was that a fluke? Um, and then the next year again, so it's 2023 with Meg. I think I got like fifth in Romania at my first show. So I was like, okay, like this is cool. And then I can't remember where I placed. I think I did some more shows in between, maybe between like seventh, eighth. And then I went to Japan and came like 12th. I think I might have actually only done five shows that year, so I can't remember. But I came like 12th in Japan, but I had a really bad time. I literally like ran onto the stage. They like shut down the roads and everything in Japan, and I literally just made it to the stage.
Oh, wow.
Um, so it was very like crazy. I'd like watered, ballooned up, and they shut the roads off because there was some filming, and none of the Ubers were getting there, so I couldn't get to the venue.
Oh,
I literally ran backstage, put my bikini on and
yes.
started to pump up. And I didn't even have time to pump up and went on stage.
Oh,
Then from Japan, I went to Taiwan.
uh-huh.
So this was late 2023, December time. And then I placed second out of a really big lineup. So I was like, right, I feel like we're making a headway here and we're kind of getting somewhere, you know? So I stayed with Meg, did like our off season, everything like that, and then went in to compete. Where did I compete? Yeah, so this year, last year, sorry, 2024 was like, okay, we need to go to the States because I'd never like competed there.
Mm-hmm.
We pushed back my show by 2 weeks. because I wasn't really like ready. But like looking now, like I still wasn't ready in the States. So I don't feel like I've had a fair like chance in the States yet. In fact, I placed eighth in the States in 2024. Then I placed with Maz, the head judge, Maz Ali.
Mhm.
I placed 12th, but then Maz proceeded to place me second like twice at other shows. So like as much as the lineups were obviously different, like I was actually in condition now. And he even said to me, like, if you had showed up like that in the States, like probably would have been a different story. So
Mhm.
again, I still feel like as much as I've made my state debut, I don't feel like how do you put it? Like at peace or like I took a package. So I essentially feel like this year of 2025 will be really exciting to actually see pre-Olympia where I stand. Now we know my like exact set point of where we need to be for me to be ready.
Yes.
Um, so that's kind of a little bit about my backstory, I guess.
Wow, what story. Oh my gosh. I need to ask you way more because now we could see the progress from last placement, working
Yeah.
through till very first placement, till qualifying for Olympia. That's
Yeah.
insane. That's awesome. Yeah, it's wow. Um, Carrie, if you don't mind, I would make a little break here, quick,
Yeah.
then I'll be back if you don't mind. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Is it 'cause
Okay,
time's running out?
yes, this is so amazing, and I need to ask you some more things about
No
your.
worries. Okay, that's cool. I'll wait for you to message me, yeah?
Thank you.